Bro, let's talk about the transfer window. Are we going to get a defensive midfielder, centre back, and still get Jadon Sancho? Or what about Erling Haaland? Real talk, the guy just can't stop scoring. Looks like he's destined for stardom, but can anyone afford him or Israel? They're just talking. What? Let's talk about the transfer window. Are we going to get a defensive midfielder, centre back, and still get Jadon Sancho? Or what about Erling Haaland? Real talk, the guy just can't stop scoring. Looks like he's destined for stardom, but can anyone afford him or Israel? They're just talking. What? Yo, you're tuned into the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Let's go. Look, you're tuned in with my boy NK, it's your boy Firms, and today we are going to talk about the transfer news. It's been a minute since we've discussed the transfer talk. A lot has happened since then, and you know what? It's about that time that we get into some of the juicy gossip. This is what the fans are waiting to see. This is what we wanted to see for a very long time here. Looking forward to basically after the January transfer, after the summer transfer when they're already looking for new signings. So it's always gassed. And you know what it is? When the season's coming to an end, you know, you're approaching summer, Twitter's popping off, all the media outlets are popping off, all the journalists are popping off. Everyone wants to be that first one that has, you know, the inside scoop of, you know, the transfers basically. So obviously, as Manchester United fans, we've heard a lot of players being linked to our club. Everyone under the sun gets linked to Manchester United. And you know what it is? It's one of those things where you don't want to get too excited. We saw it happen last season. We've seen it happen, especially under Manchester United. You get linked with a bag of players, and at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You want to get like a caviar type of player. You end up getting beans and rice at the end of the day. So it's a bit
right.
But let's get into it though. So obviously, I'm going to talk about the players in the club that we need to sort out. We started off with a big win a couple of days ago, getting the Cavani deal. It's looking like we've changed his mindset, you know what I mean? And he's agreeing to stay that extra year. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great deal because personally, I don't think we're going to sign the striker that we need. You know, I mean, in our team, there's only two strikers that right now will kind of complete the team, and that's Harry Kane and Haaland. That's the only two, and I feel like it will be one of those transfer that we don't want to get involved this summer. You know, It's looking like United just want to just get their business early. For us fans anyway, it will be good to just get the business early so that you know that, okay, this is my team. And then when we go to preseason, we just kind of going to like work on it because we always drag our transfers too much. We drag our transfers too much. So if Cavani does stay, Africa is good. It means that they're going to have to like focus on other areas. But that's great news. He's been doing well so far. So it can always be great news for us.
I think so as well. I think like, I know people want to see the likes of your Haalands or Harry Kane at, you know, at a club like ours, right? For a long-term fix. But I just feel like with Cavani, he's got the quality where you can say, do you know what? Let's overlook this for now, you know, whilst we strengthen other areas, like just, you know, other parts of the pitch where we got a lot of holes in our team. And obviously through COVID, we haven't got an enormous budget, not like everyone would think, you know. You've got all of the oil-rich owners that's got tons of money that can splash. You know, you've got your Abramoviches and you've got your, you know, your PSGs. Our sort of structure, our sort of template's not like that. Our club generates the money, and I don't think, obviously with the fans not being there and all of this other things, shirt sales and all of that stuff, it's kind of impacted on our revenue that's coming in to be able to spend on something like that. So I feel like, or someone like that. So I feel like Cavani's good, you know. I think the main thing is keeping him fit. If we can keep Cavani fit, because he didn't play a lot this season, but when he's played, you know, he's had a massive impact, you know. And yeah, United really do just need to try and keep him fit. I say we can at least get, if you keep someone like Cavani fit, right, and he's your main striker, and he can play at least, you know, 25 games in a season, 30 games in all competitions, mate, you know, you're looking at a good couple of goals there. You're looking at least 20, you know.
But that's the problem right now. See, that's my problem with that deal too. Is like, is he gonna be our main striker? or is Martial going to be our main striker? Because they are both two different type of players. So if Cavani plays, we're going to play a different type of way. And if Martial plays, we're going to play a different type of way. So my question is, who is going to be your main striker? Is Cavani going to be like a backup striker, or is Martial going to be a backup striker? And that's the big question that we're going to go into next week, because if you rely on Cavani being your main striker, he's not going to play a lot of games because one, his age, he's not going to be playing both the Champions League and the Premiership, you know? So when you do that, I feel like that's going to be the main thing. Who's going to be the main striker leading the line? And I think that's what it'll be interesting to find out, because Martial form this season has been very, very, very poor. So hopefully he step up a bit. But Martial is one player too. He's not good when he play like one game. He like to play consistently to kind of like get his form. Anytime he's come out from injury, it take him time to kind of like get going and everything. So it'll be interesting to see who is going to be our main striker going into next season. That's what I want to know.
I think that's a key thing as well. And I think if there's anything that's taught, if Oli hasn't learned anything from this season, the one thing he should have learned is that Cavani needs to be starting. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, United fans would like to see him starting every game. But realistically, with his age, I know like he's professional, he keeps fit and everything like that, but he's still got to be managed. You've seen it in this season where he's got injured quite a few times. So I think naturally, someone like Martial is going to be leading the line for a lot of games because Cavani is probably either injured or being rested. Do you know what I mean? But if you're asking me that question, who's our number one, who Oli probably starting as a number one up the top, I think you'll be like, you know what, Cavani. But there's going to be so many natural ways that Martial's going to slide in there. Do you know what I mean? And I really like to see Martial competing with Rashford on the left as well. Because he can play there, he should hopefully get ample game time as well. So we'll have to see about that. Do you know what I mean? But talking about the squad, like I said, obviously we've got that deal over the line with Cavani. We can focus on other areas. But another thing that United got over the line is Eric Bailly. That was another... this is another one as well, because this has got our fans split as well. Same with Cavani, not like they ain't good talents. It's a similar thing with fitness, and it's a similar thing with, okay, you don't play, like you're playing Martial over Cavani. You're playing Lindelof and Maguire over Bailly. Like, how are we going to improve if you're going into next season with the same team that you played last season again? Like with Bailly leaving, it was sort of like that feeling of, okay, Bailly's leaving, we can get a Varane or, or someone like that. But since he's staying, I get that feeling that, are we going to get another centre-back? You know what I mean? Or are we going to go into the season again with Eric Bailly packaged as a new signing?
I think we're going to get another centre-back. But the person that loses out is Tuanzebe. I think Tuanzebe that go on loan, or get sold out, But with the Bailly situation, I don't know. I was surprised by it, to be honest with you, because I know. Here's the thing: either him or Lindelof, one of them is going to lose out next season, and I feel like it will be Bailly. I feel like he's going to get less game time than he has even done this season, because we have seen that if he stays fit, he's the ideal partner for Harry Maguire. That one is a fact, because he got a pace. He's very calm on the ball too. Like I enjoyed him like playing, but the problem about him is his situation is a bit like the Cavani. Do you go with him as your number one centre back with Maguire, because he is not consistent enough? He always get injured. So you don't want to be building a partnership where one of the person is always getting injured, because it's kind of like one of the things is defensive. You're defensive, but they need to know each other and they need to work together. I feel like Oli has been choosing Lindelof, not because Lindelof is better than Bailly, but it's just because that he is always fit, and he would rather kind of like for them to build a relationship than that. So I think if he can stay fit during preseason, and if we don't get another centre back, if he stays fit, then I feel like he will go into the season as the number one centre back with Maguire. But again, it's the injuries. Injuries is what's going to kind of like determine whether he stay in the team or not. Because this season he's coming, he played like a very good game, and then the next minute he's on the bench because Oli don't want to overplay him to get injured. You know, the players that kind of like got injury like that, he's scared. Only if a player is like not injury prone, we have seen him. He will play you week in, week out. Fernandes is one of them. Maguire is one of them. Rashford is one of them. If you are fit, you play. So I feel like that's what he kind of like need with his players. He just need them to be fit. And if you hear his interview, he's always talking about fitness. Luke Shaw was one of them. His fitness was very, very bad. Always used to get injured. We gain a cover left back, and all of a sudden he doesn't get injury no more. You know. So I really feel like we will get a centre back this season. I feel like we will get another centre back. So with Lindelof and Eric, I don't know about one of them. One of them is going to be their last season at United. I feel like Eric is going to be like his last season there. He's not going to play. And if you want to move next summer, they go him on a long-term contract anyway, so they can get more money like from him.
It's sad though as well, because I think about it makes sense what you're saying with the whole like consistency as well. And that also supports with the goalkeeper as well, like knowing who's in front of you, knowing how the little habits they do. Do you know what I mean? Like the little things that you need to look out for as a goalkeeper. It helps knowing the two men that are directly in front of you, and rotating them and having that unreliability doesn't really help. And especially if we're going to be going into the new season with Henderson leading our line as well, they need to have consistency to develop that relationship. But I was thinking about it as well with Twenza days, like he's probably only got like 1 or 2 years left on his contract, you know. And obviously if we're getting a centre back, that probably says goodbye to someone like him as well. And that's a shame, because he had a really good season with Aston Villa, you know, came up to the Premier League promotion with them, and we didn't use him. Like we hardly used him. PSG game and maybe 1 or 2 other games, and then that was it. And he looked like he had the ingredients to being a good player, you know, strength, speed, height, physicality, and just never got given a chance. Likewise with Eric Bailly. And it's just sad. You're going to see 2 guys potentially go that never really got given a shot.
But with Twanzebe, he also has been an injury prone too.
But has he?
He has been. Yeah, he has been. He has been. Remember, when we played that PSG game, he just came back from injury. And people were talking about how he just came back from injury. And for him to play that kind of like game, it was very good of him. Him too is become like an injury. I feel like he was injured at the beginning of the season. And once he kind of like got fit, look, it's very key, because players establish themselves in the team during the beginning of the season, you know, preseason and stuff. That's when you kind of like establish yourself into the first 11, you know. Players like Fred and McTominay, they establish themselves doing the thing. Fred, for example, you can say whatever you want to say about Fred. You know, he's not one of the good, but he's always fit.
He's reliable, He's reliable.
He's reliable. And one thing about manager is you want players that is going to be fit all the time, because once a player is fit all the time, it makes your tactics very easily. You can plan ahead, you know. A manager just want to say, okay, I go Liverpool in like 3 weeks time, and I know if I put Fred in this position, he's going to do this for me, so I can play this formation, you know. But if they're not fit enough, it's very hard for you to plan ahead, because you don't know whether they're going to be fit or not. And that's the same thing with Pogba too, you know. I think Pogba got injury so much that he has not nailed that. Only has just been kind of like confident enough to just say, I'm going to play McTominay and Fred for most of the games. So now when Pogba comes, it's very hard for him to like leave one of them out, because he already got that kind of like tactics set already, that I want my deep players now. If Pogba is fit during preseason, he's going to say, okay, Pogba is a fit guy, and he doesn't play good in this kind of like deep formation. So let me try a different kind of like tactics. If only was to change tactics right now, let's just say hypothetically he changed tactics, and then he go one DMF there with the knowledge that he's gonna play Pogba and Bruno in the middle. The minute Pogba get injured, that whole system collapse. You know, Van der Beek is good and everything, but he's not one of the. He likes to play simple passing. He's not going to get you that kind of like true ball or that kind of like long pass that Pogba is going to do. And he's not really like a box-to-box too. So once one player get injured, it changes the whole system. And I feel like that's why that he has not been able to change kind of like formation, because Pogba is one player too. He don't stay fit enough. So it's all about, the key thing right now is the injury prone. If players are to stay fit and he knows that, then he's going to work something up. You know,
it's interesting you said that though. It's interesting you said that, because I just feel like with Pogba, like Donny van der Beek, from what I've seen, doesn't look like he can do that. He looks like he can fit into a system where you can play that. But if you're looking for that creativity, that thing what Pogba did brings, playing from that central midfield position, Donny won't bring that. He'll bring the slick. He'll keep things ticking. Donny van de Beek will keep things ticking, but he wouldn't necessarily. I don't think he'll boss the midfield like how Pogba could. But have we ever thought about maybe dropping Bruno Fernandes deeper, since he's got the vision, he's got the creativity, he's got the range, and playing him next to a DM, maybe pushing someone like Pogba up top. If he's not fit, then you can rotate him with Donny van de Beek, who's naturally better up, playing higher up the pitch around that box, doing that tiki-taka.
But Bruno did. I remember when Bruno first started, I remember there was one game where Bruno dropped into the middle. One thing about Bruno, people talk about Bruno having a vision. Bruno don't have the vision. Bruno will not do, when last season, when Pogba used to do those long balls for Marcus Rashford, and then he was just, I think, one goal against Tottenham where he just done that ball. Bruno can do that. Nobody is so perfect at doing those kind of like long bridge passes than Pogba. Bruno will do like probably, say, 5 of them, and then 2 of them will actually be spot on. He does a lot of passes, he will lose a lot, and he always said it himself. He said he was always going to be playing the forward passes, and eventually 2 of them will be. If you keep on doing it, you will find your man eventually. He cannot play deep. And why would you play a player who go up almost like 17 goals or so in a season?
That's another point. Yeah.
And that's what Pogba is doing. We are with Pogba, since we push him forward, he's scoring goals, he's creating goals, and he's starting attacking movement. When you put players like that in those positions, you are literally starving the team out of creativity. Fred and McTominay can play there because if you push them up, they're not creating nothing. McTominay, sometimes if you push him forward, he got a bit of more goals in him than Fred. But you don't really miss no creativity from them. So with Pogba and Bruno, we are missing 2 creative, 2 goal scoring. Pogba, you push him up like that, he get you 10 Premiership goals.
He will. Remember under Mourinho, when Mourinho used him their first time, it was his best season at Man United that season when Mourinho played him as a number.
And even when Oli came in, that season Oli took over from Mourinho, I feel like he was our top goal scorer. Pogba was our top goal scorer. So I feel with him, it's the injuries that he has. That's what Oli is struggling to actually find a proper position for him. Now, if he was to stay fit all the time for majority of the season, then Oli cannot continue to play him on the left, because if you do that too, then you go Marcus Rashford, who cannot continue to play on the right-hand side, And obviously, we're also talking about getting a certain Mr. Someone on the right-hand side too,
No names.
No names. So when you do that, it's a headache that the manager needs. But I feel like when he get it, I know Oli probably got a system. I don't feel like this formation that he's playing right now is the ideal formation that he want to play. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like the formation that he want to play, he don't have the players to play that formation, or the players that he has are not injury free enough to play that formation, because Oli has been switching formation a lot. He played this formation because he feel like this formation kind of like will work best for the team that he has right now. But I don't really feel like this is what the kind of formation that he want to play.
I mean, I don't think so either. But I do like to see a bit of experimenting at times to see what could work with our team. With Oli, I don't think he takes enough risks where he tries out enough stuff. And like what I just said with playing Bruno Fernandes deeper, it will probably limit him to maybe he gets less goals. But what it probably does allow you to do is play in certain games Bruno in that middle, centre mid with like a DM, Pogba on the left, and then maybe Donny van de Beek in the behind the striker. Do you know what I mean? You have 3 creative players. I feel like maybe it's someone that is more technical, a coach that's more technical, will probably explore and experiment those type of things. But I mean, I guess at the same time as well, you need to have a squad that you're able to do that, because our defense and our DM is nowhere near that level to allow all of those players to be playing at the same time right about now anyway. So I can understand why it's like that. But going on to Pogba, because I know we've been talking about him a lot. Pogba, obviously the dilemma's there. Pogba is a guy who hasn't signed a contract yet. You know, he's been talking about leaving for the last couple of seasons. Rayola's been pouring fuel into that fire. You know, even recently, you know, as early as maybe a couple of days ago or so, he was out saying, you know, talking about Pogba saying, you know, he could potentially, Real Madrid can afford him, you know, Barcelona can afford him or whatever. And, you know, they can have a deal where you do a swap deal with Hazard. Now, I thought that was kind of funny, because for me, when I looked at Hazard, right, really and truly, I have not seen him play that many games, only a handful of games like this season, even when he first made his massive move to Real Madrid. So for the simple fact that he said, "Oh, swap deal," I knew that he's like clutching, because that's something that Manchester United will never do. Hazard, right? He joined summer 19, yeah, I think June 19 for Real Madrid. Big move. I can't remember how much it was. 80 minutes. I don't even know what the price was. A big move. He's on over, you know, about 400k a week, something crazy.
Yeah.
This guy has probably played 10, 11 games this season. Last season, you know, probably less, like a handful of games as well. Not too many. I'm being a bit harsh on a handful, but he hasn't played that many games.
Yeah.
Competition. He scored about 4 goals in his whole entire career at Real Madrid thus far. And to me, that's he's a shadow of the man that he was at Chelsea. It sort of reminds me of the Sancho deal when we took off Sancho from Arsenal. Sanchez, sorry, from Arsenal.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a swap deal. That's never going to happen. I think Manchester United will probably just want to make him leave for free than taking those wages for someone that's not going to deliver any sort of output from.
Yeah. When he was talking about a swap deal, he was not necessarily talking about Hazard. He was talking about a certain someone too, but he was not necessarily talking about Hazard. He was talking about a centre back we're trying to get. Varane. Because his Varane, yeah. Varane's situation is the same as Pogba. You know, they both, after the end of this season, they both have 1 year left on their contract. And Man United are interested in him, and vice versa, Real Madrid are interested in Pogba. So he was just saying that they can afford him, or they can. When he said a swap deal, he was talking about him, but he didn't want to be directly say like, "Oh yeah, Man United can go and just do a swap deal with Varane." But the feeling right now is, I feel like his agent has kind of like changed his tune compared to how he used to be before. He was talking about, "Oh, I'm not sure if Pogba want to do it. Depend on Man United and what kind of a project that they want to have, because what Pogba want to do is Pogba just want to win trophies. He want to win titles and he want to win the Champions League. So it's all about just saying, I feel Pogba will sign a contract. I really feel like he will sign a contract. The only thing is he will use the transfer window as a bargain chip. Like, hey, you know what? I want to win the title. So who are you going to bring in order for me to sign?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just one of those ones. If United have a very good transfer window, he will sign. And it's also depend on if we win the Europa League. We win the Europa League, and then they talk about, and then I know after that too, I don't know, he was going to have a conversation with Oli to say, hey, you know what, next season, what are we doing to kind of like push Man City to the title? Because his interviews are saying that his last interview right before Liverpool game, he was talking about how we are doing a bit similar to what Liverpool and Man City done, where we are making step by step. Now it's just about taking it on to the next step. So you can tell that he want to be part of that title winning season, but it's all about what are we doing in the transfer window? Are you going to buy me another player like Bruno Fernandes that I can play with? So are you going to get me that Sancho and another kind of like player in between the team that we can push? Or are you going to go try and get those kind of like Igalo and stuff like that? He don't want that. You know, for all his, like, since he's been at Man United, Bruno is the first player that has actually come and actually taking some of the burden off Paul Pogba. And that's what he wants. He wants good players to play around so that everybody's not always going to talk about, oh, Pogba. People are going to be like, okay, if he had a bad game today, Bruno can score. If Bruno have a bad game, someone like Sancho or some of the players who can take that. All the players Rashford has been hiding around Pogba. Martial has been hiding around Pogba. Like most of our players has been hiding around Pogba. And he was fed up with it. I feel like he will sign a contract that it will be key. One is either he's going to take the money, because I'm hearing they're going to talk about 400k a week.
I had 4.
Or he's going to say, look, I want that contract, but I still want you to give me quality players so that we can actually say we want to just win something, and that's what he want to do. He just want to win titles. So
that's what he wants to do. He wants to definitely win, and I think he's been at Manchester United for a long time, like 4 years, 5 years, whatever he's been at Manchester United. He hasn't really won the major titles that he wants to win, which is Premier League, Champions League. But at the same time, I think I know we're looking at him because it was a major signing, 90 million. We wanted a lot more from him, and the consistency wasn't there. But at the same hand, you're looking at the squad and thinking these guys were very much. You're thinking about 4 or 5 years ago. You're talking about your Rashford, your Martial. These guys are young. They're kids. They're babies themselves. They're all very young. None of them are really in their prime. Do you know what I mean? Someone that can take the game by the scruff of its neck. And this is why you see guys like the experience like Ibrahimovic coming, and you can see what impact he makes when he comes. All of these experienced guys, that's ready now. And you can see it with Cavani now. So, but for me, I do feel like Pogba is definitely going to stay. That's my prediction. He's going to stay. Not necessarily, I'm not 100% sure on whether he's going to sign a contract, but obviously I'm saying stay because whether or not he signs or not, I don't think he's going to get a transfer is my thing. I feel like other clubs are going to look at other players as a priority over Pogba right now, especially the clubs that he wants to go to. That's just my hunch. I could be wrong. And obviously with the wages he's talking about, it's a big investment when you can wait one more year. You're talking about a transfer fee and 400k. Clubs are going to be shy away from that and say, you know what, I'll rather wait another 12 months. Then I'll give you the wages what you want. And it's all fine. But to ask to pay, I don't know, 40, 50, whatever Manchester United would demand for him, teams might be like, no, especially this corona period. So I feel like regardless, he's going to stay. I feel like the decision's probably going to be made after the Euros because he's still going to be exploring what clubs want to come in for him. Is look at his performance after the Euros. It may shoot up his price tag, so it could even help Manchester United as well in that sense. And then he will make his decision there. But I feel like a lot of it will be influenced on how we finish this season. Like you said, get the Europa League, finish second, finish as strong as we can, and then what we do in the summer, because we've promised probably him a lot of things in terms of we're going to strengthen. What's the project looking like? And Riola, you hear it from his mouth. You hear Pogba, you hear it from his mouth. They're interested in the project as well as the money, but they want to win. And United need to show stuff in the transfer window to reflect them pushing for the title. So they're really going to have to go out and get your marquee signings to even convince him to start to think, actually, we've got a shot here. We've got a shot. So I can see the type of strategy that we're trying to go down, but hopefully we can pull it off. Now, we've had a restructure now. Murtough and got Fletcher and all of these guys in charge of transfers and doing what they need to do. So let's see if it makes a difference. Woodward's gone. Let's see if that makes a difference, and how the window goes. But let's talk about if Pogba does go. Do you want a replacement in like your Grealish? Could he fulfill Philly's boots, or can he fulfill the role? Or would you prefer to, save that money if we do get any money and give Donny van de Beek a chance, for example?
See, Pogba going is going to set us back so much. And that's what people don't realize now. Right, the way our team is, certain players can leave and the progress will not be backwards. But one player just leaving just upset the whole balance of the team. And Pogba is one of them. If Pogba goes, it will be hard to find that kind of a player, because what you don't understand is Pogba don't only play in midfield too. Right now he's playing on the left-hand side too. He's literally playing as either a winger or as a midfielder too. And when he played on the wings too, he played a bit similar to how we wanted Mata to play. Mata was always playing on the wing, but then he was kind of drifting in and just kind of doing that. But Pogba does it much more better. You take him out. Yes, you can bring Jack Grealish in, but Grealish is not. He's always going to play on the wing. He cannot drop into the defensive midfield role if you keep on the same formation. If one of McTominay or Fred get injured, you don't have no more cover, because Matic is leaving this summer. Matic is going to go leave this summer. Make no mistake about it.
Or something like that.
Yeah, he's gone.
5 million, a few million here and there.
He's gone. They might even let him go for free. just to get off the wages. So right now, if he goes and then Pogba goes, that means we're going to a place where we only have two proper midfielders, to play in that kind of a position. So I feel like they will do everything in their power to make Pogba stay. But if Pogba goes, then we need to kind of like forget talking about, we're going to challenge for the title next season. That was just literally out of the window, because having to find that kind of like replacement for him, it's just good. And replace too, it's just not even about what they can do on the pitch, it's about what they can do off the pitch. I mean, the media make Pogba look like a certain way, but everybody talk about how of a big influence that he is in the dressing room. Bruno said when he came first, Pogba came to him and then gave him a book to say, hey, this is the house. What house you want? And then he's going to just kind of like show that. So he's a leader in the dressing room. He might not show you on the pitch, but he is a leader in the dressing room. If he's one player, if he's unhappy, the whole team become unhappy. And you saw that with Mourinho. Once Mourinho picked up a fight with him, and Mourinho knew that, because Mourinho does that. Mourinho wanted out of Manchester United, so he picked a fight with Pogba. He picked a fight with Pogba, and it kind of like affected the whole team. So I do not want to think about Pogba leaving. If Pogba leaves, if Pogba leaves, we can forget about even coming second place.
I won't sell him. I'll ride it again. If it was me, I'll ride it again. You rather
leave
it for free.
That's what I'm trying to say. I will ride it again too, because I feel like, and that's one of the things that you have to convince him. Like, this season we are second place, and you can argue to him like, look, one of the reasons why we probably like not as close as Man City is because you got injured, and once you got injured, we kind of like lost our creativity. Because remember when Pogba was fit, we were keeping up with Man City. We were keeping up with Man City. He got injured, if I'm not mistaken. It was against Sheffield United. He got injured. We lost that game, and ever since then, our whole title challenges collapsed because he was not in the team, So you can just tell him like, look, we are not far. And I feel like he knows it too. Where's he going to go? He go to Juventus. Juventus might not even make it to the Champions League. That's how bad it is for them. They literally might not make it to the Champions League. And they try to even get Ronaldo off their wage bill. And the only way he can go to Juventus is if they get rid of Ronaldo. And Ronaldo to assistant. There's only two clubs that he can go to, Manchester United or PSG. And none of them want to take on that kind of like wages.
And again, he's got 1 year left on his contract as well, Ronaldo. So you're gonna have to pay some sort of fee as well in order to get.
Right, or they would. As I said, most of these clubs that want Pogba don't have the cash to pay for him, so they're trying to do a swap deal. Real Madrid would like to do a swap deal. Or what they call it, Juventus would like to do that. But personally, I don't think Real Madrid want him as much. Zidane want him, but the president don't want to sign him. Because if they wanted him when he was leaving Juventus, I tell you what, he would have been there instead of Manchester United, because no player rejects Real Madrid like that.
No one.
And if they wanted to pay that kind of like money like that, they would have done it. They didn't pay that money then, and they will not pay now. Juventus, he wanted to go there because his wife is Italian, and maybe they wanted to just kind of like go there because they were not liked by the British press, but I feel like that Juventus deal is out of the window now too, because they don't have the money and they just need to concentrate on getting the Champions League. I think he stays.
I think so as well. I mean, there's no way you're getting him unless it's a free thing for me. I just can't see it happening. But do you know what? We've hummed and awed. We've ummed and awed. The elephant is in the room, and we have to talk about the elephant. Jadon Sancho. Look, Jadon Sancho, we've been looking at him for years. Obviously, last season, there was the big hoo-ha, the big media circus. We looked like clowns at the end of it. It was painful for Manchester United fans to go through that. It was dragged out and it all crumbled at the end. We ended up with egg on our face. And I didn't want to think about it no more. I can't even say his name like at will these days, you know what I mean? Like before, I'll be looking at Twitter, like, looking at the memes, getting excited. Now I'm just like, oh gosh, another, here we go again sort of thing. But we are where we are. Talks are being, they're bubbling up under the surface about Jadon Sancho. We heard the director, CEO, whatever for Dortmund come out recently and say, they have a gentleman's agreement with Sancho. Sancho could leave this summer if conditions are met. Now that has a lot of connotations behind that conditions. But obviously what's been coming out over the last 24, 48 hours or so is that, you know, Jadon Sancho's price tag is looking like the 100 million, what was it? Somewhere between the 70 million and 90 million mark. So let's say 100 million euros is the max. That would probably be about 90 million pounds or so, or 85. And then, so somewhere between that region. I'm going with a sweet spot of around 80 million, 85 million to get Sancho. Question is he our priority? Is he going to improve us right now, considering we've got to make all of these wholesale sort of improvements? There's so many gaps. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, Jerry's look, make no doubt about it. He's a quality player, and quality players improve teams. He at the moment he's better than anything we got it right. You know, I know we play Mason Greenwood there, but that's not his long-term future. His long-term future is at the number 9 spot. That's where he's gonna play in the long-term future. So with Sancho, I mean, last summer Dortmund wanted to sell, but it was not their priority to sell, you know. So I feel like after what happened last summer is that Manchester United spoke to Sancho and told Sancho, we want to sign you. Sancho's like, look, I'm also interested to kind of like come. So I feel like that conversation just went over them. And then it was about agreeing a transfer price with Dortmund. Now, Man United tried to do what they always do, which is just drag it just down. They done the same thing with Bruno.
Yeah.
They didn't get their man, and then they ended up getting him in the next transfer window too. And they did the same thing too by dragging it on, you know. And what they don't understand is that it literally affects the team. With the Bruno deal, for example, since Bruno came, we literally kick on with the Champions League all the way. Now imagine we lost Champions League, we lost to Leicester on the last game of the season, and we did not get the Champions League. You could have, the fan base could have argued that if we got Bruno a week or two earlier on, we would not have had that problem. So I think it's very key that Ole goes and tell this board that I need my players in before the preseason. You know, get all this thing done early, and that's very key if you want to challenge for the title or what. You get these players early, and then you start working on something like that. They've already told us how much the money is. You know, last season it was a question about we will only go for Sancho if we get Champions League or not. And the minute we go Champions League, the whole topic was that Sancho was coming. This season we've known since January that we're gonna get Champions League because we have been that good this season. Champions League has never been a problem, you know. And then now too, I feel like the conversation Dortmund have accepted that they're gonna lose him, you know. So they have already set out the price. 70 to 90 million. After, if United are very smart, they offer 70 million and they give Ahmed on loan to Dortmund for like a year or two. Because let's face it, Ahmed too is a talent that if we don't take care, we are gonna waste him. He's not getting game time, he's just there. You give him to a club like Dortmund and I tell you what, in a year or two, he will become a superstar. And I understand, from what I understand is that Dortmund were looking at him as a potential replacement for Sancho anyways, you know. So if you don't have that much cash that you want to do, because Dortmund, that cash they're going to use to get a replacement anyway. So you say, hey, we're going to give you 70 million for Jadon Sancho. We're going to pay you 50 million upfront. The remaining 20, we're going to do it in installments. And on top of that, we're going to give you Ahmed for like a year or two on loan, you know.
See, I can see Dortmund as a club saying, we want an option to buy. I don't see them just being like, oh yeah, we're going to develop this guy, waste our resources and time.
No, but then they always like to get a young players and everything too. But what that kind of like stop them too is it actually stop them from actually going to buy. Because let's face it, most of the money that they're going to get from Jadon Sancho, they're going to have to spend it to go buy anyways. One thing about them is they always kind of like invest in like their players that they can resell for big. Remember, I don't know what player they saw when they saw like Dembele and stuff. They go Sancho and then they go Hazard brother too. Yeah, they bought Hazard brother too. It's not just because they have to think about club. They need to get into the Champions League. Ahmed would do a very solid deal for them because if Sancho comes, I struggle to see how I'm gonna get game time. You know, he's not getting game time as it is. And a question that you have to ask yourself, is Daniel James gonna stay or is Daniel James gonna go? You know, James, I feel like he needs to go. If you buy Sancho, someone on the right has to go. So one, are you gonna loan him? We just bought him, so we're not gonna sell him. So if you're not gonna sell him, then are you gonna loan him? If you're not gonna loan him and he's gonna stay at club, then what do you do with Daniel James? Because if you know, then he just looking at, okay, so why not you bought Sancho? Then there's Daniel James. So am I gonna be your third right winger or not? You know?
I can see Dan James being the one that's probably more likely to get loaned out, if anything, than Ahmad Traore or Diallo or whatever.
So with the Sancho, though, I feel like it's gonna happen this summer. They've already set up the price, and then the price that they sell 100 million euros, they know they're not gonna get 100 million euros anyway. So it's gonna be a negotiation and stuff like that. My only thing is that I don't want it to drag on. Get that transfer done
ASAP.
You know,
pre-season it needs to be there, ready.
Just get it done early. Do what Liverpool and Emirates are doing. You know, Liverpool already announced that they gained a centre back already from that German club. They already done that already. That's what the big clubs do. You know, Real Madrid is getting Alba from Bayern Munich on a free transfer. So the big club, they start planning a lot in advance, and they announce their deals a lot in advance.
I do feel like, I mean, so, you know, Germans, they get their deals. I mean, Bayern's really good at, you know, they did it with Sane as well. They got them early, but I do feel like with Konate, because he had the buyout clause, it made things easier. And obviously free signings, you can, and a player that wants to come to your club, it also helps as well. Whereas I feel like a lot of the players that we're trying to go for, obviously they don't have buyout clauses, a lot of them, and two, we're almost trying to convince them to come to United. It's not like the old school days where players will be dying to come to Manchester United, which also adds on to that extra layer of delay. But that will bring me on to another player later on. But I want to talk about, stay on the topic of Dortmund, Haaland, right? Because obviously Manchester United's signs were looking like they're gonna, you know, give Cavani 1 year extension on the contract, whatever. So he's gonna, well, he already had the option anyway. He's gonna exercise the option, and Haaland's there now. Haaland's a guy, obviously, in that same interview I was talking about with Sancho, you know, the chief or CEO or whatever of Dortmund was like, Haaland, there's not a gentleman's agreement in place for Haaland. Haaland is not going to leave Dortmund. Now, from what I know about Dortmund, right, they are about their money. They're a selling club, facts, but they're about their money. If they're not about their money, they're not. They proved it with Sancho. You know, Aubameyang, you know, there was noise there as well. They got the money that they wanted. Ousmane Dembele, they got big cash as well before they let him go. They were like, you know, no. I think Barca paid over 100, maybe 120, no, even more, maybe 100 and some crazy amount. I need to double check it. It was silly figures. Yeah. So they get their money. And I feel like I'll be silly to disagree or think otherwise, you know, with all the things that they've shown. So now they're saying Haaland's staying, and I don't think he's going to leave personally if a club don't come with that crazy money. And I think his buyout clause is 62 million next season. So for me, I feel like for you to get Haaland now, it's going to take something significant. And I'm thinking upwards of 100 million in order for you to prize him away this season. And I just, again, can't see anyone paying upwards of 100 million for a player, again, who's going to have a buyout clause the following season of 62 million. Real Madrid will be thinking, you know, he wants to come and play for me we can get him anyway. City will probably be thinking the same thing, you know, and I just can't see it, especially with the wages that someone like Haaland's going to command. I don't know how much he's earning now, but I'm pretty sure him being the most, you know, top 3 striker in the world right about now, so arguably he will be commanding fees, transfer fees, especially under Raiola, something significant, probably like 300 or that ballpark. And it's a lot of commitment as well to pay that much in millions as well as those wages. So what's your thoughts on that?
With the Sancho, I feel like the Haaland deal is going to be the transfer of the summer. you know, is gonna get talked about a lot. I feel like Dortmund they have said they will not say it out loud, but I think that there's a price tag too with Haaland there. They will not say that. And from what I've been hearing, apparently the release clause is actually not there like that as people feel. I think they said the release clause is under a condition. That's what I've been hearing, is under a condition. The agents want the player to leave. I feel like Haaland will also like to leave. Personally, I feel like he will also like to leave, because if you sell Sancho and Sancho goes, he's looking at, okay, what am I playing here for? Because one thing about players too is they want to play and win stuff. You know, people are talking about Haaland as the next, he's going to be the player to rival Mbappe for the Ballon d'Or and everything. So if you sell Jadon Sancho and you go Bayern Munich strength, he knows he's not going to win the Bundesliga next season, you know, and they have struggled a lot too with Sancho out of the team, you know, and they're still fighting to get Champions League. Now, Dortmund can say whatever they want to say, but my stance is, if they don't get Champions League, it will be hard for them to keep him. You know, it will be hard to the extent that you are going to have an unhappy players. And, you know, it's one of those ones that when players decide to do that, they are going on a European Championship too. And, you know, when players want to force a move, after that, they decide not to even return back to camp. You know, a lot of them do that where they want to force a move and then they don't even come back to camp, and then they just delay it because they just want to go. They just want to go. So right now, what the agent is trying to do, the agent is trying to find out what club will have the money to pay for him, because I feel like Haaland has come and tell him like, look, I'm ready to go, and they know it will be difficult to get him out from Dortmund this season unless City money do. So that's where they are out there trying to find a club that play in the Champions League and have the money enough to buy him. And it doesn't matter what club. I don't think Sancho have a preference about where he want to go. He will go where the ambition is. Any club that is ambitious, that he feel like he can just do that, because he's not going to sit there while Mbappe is there playing the Champions League week in, week out. And then he's just going to be there like worrying about whether he's going to get Champions League next season or not. You know, but it is one of those stories. I don't think Man United, I don't think we are going to be involved in that transfer, to be honest with you.
I don't think so as well. I think it's too much of that's one of those ones where a team like Manchester United will focus all of our energy and attention on just trying to get that deal over the line. But just on the Haaland thing, I mean, so the way I look at it is Haaland's about 20, 21 years old, right?
Yeah.
He's young. He's very ambitious, very driven. From what I've heard, you know, the small times I've heard him speak, he's very ambitious, very almost like, what's that word? You know, when he's got that chip on his shoulder type feeling as well, almost like, to say, you know what I mean? Like, I'm that guy, which is good. He's confident. But at the same time, I think, you know, like I said, there's been that whole like buzzing around of a buyout clause. And if this buyout clause is true, and it's around the 60 odd million mark, right? It's a guarantee that he's going to go the following season, 100% guarantee. So he's young, he's guaranteed to leave. It's not like he's worried about, he's not in a Kane position. And he's going to have the world after him, everyone. So I just feel like, is that enough to say, do you know what? Okay, no one can get me this move. Clearly, if no one can pay anyway, I've got to stay because there's nothing I can do. And I feel like there's going to be that little bit less urgency for him to be like pulling his hair out and going crazy. Secondly, I look at it with Dortmund. Dortmund right now is 5th, right? Dortmund's right now is 5th. I just checked it now as you're speaking. They're 1 point behind Frankfurt. There was a massive gap before. I remember the last time I looked at the Bundesliga, it was like a 7 points gap.
Yeah,
now,
it was like 4-5, yeah.
Now
they closed it down.
They've closed it down. There's like 3 games to go because the Bundesliga play like 34 games, I think, in a season. We play 38 or whatever it is. So they've got 3 games to go, and there's 1 point gap between them and Frankfurt because they've been dropping points. Wolfsburg's been dropping points, and they can easily. So Dortmund's on 55. Frankfurt's on 56, Wolfsburg's on 57. They can finish the season being 3rd. Do you know what I mean? Comfortably.
Right.
Yeah, you can't trust Wolfsburg and Frankfurt right about now. And Sancho, I think, is back now as well, which is going to be an extra boost for Dortmund. So I can honestly see the season going like this. They may not finish in Champions League, but I can see it going like this. Dortmund get Champions League. It removes a lot of the stress that we're all thinking that's going to happen anyway. Haaland's going to be like, you know what, fine, I'm still in Champions League, I'm still competing, and definitely know I'm leaving next season. Look, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to follow Sancho's boots next season and leave to whoever can afford me, and I'll be able to choose whoever I want to go to. Should Dortmund not make Champions League, again, I just can't comprehend anyone given the money that Dortmund's going to want to see. Dortmund really do stick to their values and saying, you know what, this is the price that we want. And it's going to take something substantial. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're talking above 60, a clear margin for them to say, you know what, I'm going to risk losing Sancho, losing Haaland, not challenging for Bundesliga. We struggled this season even without Sancho, and you've seen it. Us potentially not making Champions League, which brings in an extra number of millions. You know what I mean? For the difference of 10, 20 million, it's not enough. We need something to make this worthwhile. We need something. We need to signing to be done early is one. We need enough time in the transfer window, because especially with Euros and everything going on, we need these deals to be done early. You need to be talking our language and allow us time to get a replacement who's also going to be stressful because of the Euros. And I feel like Dortmund's already committed to saying, you know what, I don't even want to put myself through that stress, because trying to replace Sancho and Haaland with the money, the time, Euros, it's just going to be too much of a task unless they're really good enough already to identify their targets. I know they've got a young buck, Makoko or something like that. He's young, he's about 16. He's doing well, but nowhere near ready now to be, I don't think, leading the line, you know, Bundesliga or whatever, or challenging Bayern to any sense or whatever like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Champions League is very key, because the best players always want to play in the Champions League. And if he want to leave, let's just say that he really want to leave. And it's going to be the same situation with Pogba, the season that he wanted to force the move away from Man United, and then he went on a tour, and then he said like, oh, I need a new challenge and everything like that. I feel like that's going to be him talking like that during the summertime, you know, because that's what we're allowed to do. He forces his players to come out and just kind of like just do those kind of like little speeches to encourage clubs to kind of like come after them. His problem right now is the clubs don't have the money to come and get him right now. That's the only problem. I feel like if there's anyone that can afford him right now, my guess would probably be Chelsea, or Man United.
Yeah,
but United got priorities elsewhere.
Or PSG maybe.
Or PSG maybe, but
they're distracted.
I don't. A lot of people don't want to really. I don't know. With the French league, it's just not appealing to a lot of players, you know. So when they go there, if he go to PSG, he's gonna probably want like about the same wages around what Neymar is getting. Because
I think like he will. I think because like I say, he's so young and he's under Raiola. I really think Haaland's one of those guys that's potentially gonna bounce around a few clubs. And PSG is just that another level up, and he's surrounded by Neymar and Mbappe. And when you go to a club like PSG, I don't think your thought process is on winning like league, whatever it is. You're not thinking about that. Your focus is on Champions League. That is what your driver will be. And I feel like he's got a good opportunity being surrounded by Neymar and Mbappe. Added him to the mix.
I first of all, I don't see him and Mbappe playing the same team. They will not do that, because people are starting to kind of like get them as kind of like a rival kind of like fan. And I remember when they play against PSG, they were kind of like taking the make out of him because he scored that goal where he was doing the sign, and PSG people players, when they knocked them out, they were still doing that. I don't see him really going to PSG, to be honest with you, because him and Mbappe just don't match. And then he'll be thinking, why should I? And if Mbappe leaves and they try to get him too, his question will be like, why should I go filling his boots when I'm trying to kind of like compete with him? His rival is going to be like Ronaldo and Messi. I really see them becoming like Ronaldo and Messi. Like rivals. Well. So
it's already happening.
It's already happening. So they will not be in one of those ones where they what do you call it? They play for the same team. Or then again, you will never see what do you call it? Messi come to Man United or playing for Real Madrid. So I don't think you will see them do similar things than that. But he will want to move because Dortmund is just not going to do that. The only question is, does he stay one more season or not? And it will depend on Dortmund Champions League thing. If Dortmund don't get Champions League, he will force that move. Yeah. He will force that move, and Dortmund will have to cave in and accept something like around maybe 100 million euros or 120 million euros. But if Dortmund do get Champions League, then they can say, hey, we want 160 million euros, and if you don't pay, then he's not going nowhere, and there is nothing he can do about it. But if they miss out on Champions League, that price probably get knocked down by maybe 50 million euros or 40 million euros max.
I'm worried. I'm championing them to make Champions League, because when you're looking at the clubs that can realistically afford him now, if you're looking at PSG and we've excluded them because of the whole Mbappe situation and them trying to focus on them contracts with Neymar as well, and the whole rivalry thing with them going on, that's excluded them. You're talking about a direct rival, which is Chelsea, and potentially going to probably and City, and then that's where it starts getting a bit worrying, because it's the Premier League he's coming into, and you're gonna be stuck with him for a long time. With City as well, players don't really leave City. I've realized that they get their players, and I mean Sane went. Yeah, but they stay there for a while. Sane was a quick one, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, because Sane was not getting game time too. He was doing that rotation system too. That wasn't working out for him too. I'm hearing that Sterling is trying to get out too, because Sterling is not happy. Yeah, I'm hearing Sterling want to go there, and Real Madrid. The thing is, all these big clubs, they all just want certain thing. Like Real Madrid, like the Spanish team, for example. If this was like 4 or 5 years ago, you will see Mbappe at Real Madrid and Haaland at Barcelona. Yeah, and they're gonna be competing to come. But now they don't have the money to do that too. You know, Real Madrid. I'm hearing stories about they're looking at Mohamed Salah. They're looking at him. They're trying to sign players, but they just don't have the money. The only clubs right now that I feel like they can actually afford Haaland, if Dortmund put up the stand, is an English club. Yeah. The English club will have the money to just do that. I feel like Man United, I feel like our budget don't allow us to spend that much on a striker right now, because we feel like the team, United as a team, they feel like they got the goals in the team anyways. They just need to find a way to just make the team balanced by not leaking the goals, So they feel like the goals are just there anyways. They want him, but they want to get him next season. That's United stand. We want you, but we want you next season. So if you can stay for one more season, it benefits United. City is losing Aguero. They want a striker. Yeah. They want a striker, like, for sure. Talks are that Aguero might end up at Barcelona. Yeah. And then you go Chelsea. Chelsea need them too, man.
Just interrupting you quickly, Ink. So we're joined back with Edwin. He's making a short cameo to OT 99. We're talking
VIP
about the transfer
entrance.
window. VIP, you know how it is.
I thought you were talking about the fans. I had a lot to say, but
nah. We switched it up today. Obviously, a lot's going on with the 50+1 and the chanting of the fans. Obviously, the little cabal that happened the other day that led to the cancellation of Liverpool and Manchester United's game. But we can touch on that small to the end. But we've talked about a few things, but we're on the topic of Haaland. Whether he's gonna leave Dortmund, what happens if they don't qualify for Champions League? Who can afford him? Can we afford him as Manchester United fans? Do you want to see him at the club? Or obviously, my views on it is, since we signed Edson Cavani and get, that ship is sailed. I think that
is it confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but I feel like the energy that just got put out there, man, it's done.
Yeah. They put that energy there. I mean, it has to be confirmed, but they're just saying more like, I think he has had a gentleman's agreement with them to say, hey, I'm gonna stay for one season. I feel like he shook their hands to say that. I feel like it. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it, Edwin, before we move on? We've talked about it at length, but would you want to see Haaland at the club, considering our budget? Or would you want to see money spent in a different way this summer?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because we don't know like the ins and outs of Haaland's contract, isn't it? But then the issue is always going to be his agent. So I think Haaland coming to Man United might be good now, because what I've realized, especially when it comes to players, right? Even though he's doing well in the German league, and this is even for managers, I think they always need to have like an older mentor. You know what I mean? And if he comes to Man U, there's no one that could like take him under the wing. You know what I mean? And be like, do this, do that. So I think him going when Cavani will be there, he will learn a lot. You know what I mean? Same way, I think Ibrahimovic stayed a bit longer. Someone like Rashford, Martial, and even Greenwood would have played better. I mean, so I think, but you know what is the money? Is like, do we like use all our transfer just for him instead of just building? Because, like, you know, me and NK were saying, it's like defensive midfielder. We need one. We need a centre back.
It's a lot. Because
what we need a centre back that's quick, but also knows how to play with the ball. Like you know how we had a Ferdinand. Because the problem is that look how many times like someone like Maguire loses the ball, he will do like some dumb pass, like, and it's like he and sometimes he goes on these runs, but we don't have the protection. So when we're playing bigger teams, and imagine if he gets caught out when he goes on those runs and we get hit on a counter. So I think we need a DM, maybe a centre back, a right back, but not one, probably a first team, just one to challenge Wan-Bissaka. So there's a lot of places that we need to improve, especially if we're going to be in a Champions League. There's going to be more games, you know what I mean? Especially if we want to go far in competition. So I would like to see him there, because you know he'll bring the goals. So it's like, is he worth bringing an expense to everything else that we need? Because we can wait for him.
Yeah,
we can actually wait.
And I think so as well. I agree. I think that we can wait for him. And my hope is, though, that in the summer we bring in players that Oli now feels confident enough to start playing them and rotating the team rather than playing, because we've been playing probably the same 14, 15 players for the last 2 seasons. Do you know what I mean? Just because Oli doesn't feel he has the faith to play certain guys, or we're bringing on guys to be, backups. I want to see first teamers that will allow Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to, have confidence in playing them and not feel no way, like it's not, how like City is. They don't feel no way.
If you're gonna have young players, play them like. I know I keep on saying this, but there's no point of buying a youngster for 40 million and putting him on the bench and playing him under 23s. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And the thing is, look, and this is what doesn't make sense, If already, he came on, and he can play right wing. We've seen him play right wing, He's quick, he's sharp, and he's left-footed, and it's probably best for him to play on that side so he can cut in, because we don't really do that whole, run into the byline and crossing them, or it's like, he can drift in and out, right? Why, it's weird because it puts Rashford in a weird place, because Rashford looks like he's playing poor, but he's out of position. And then he's losing form, he's probably not confident, he's probably not happy playing there. Then you've got this kid that's just sitting there that's hungry. Like, he came on once in the UEFA Cup and he scored.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's and when you watch him in the under 23s, he's like he's a bully. He shouldn't be there. He's too good for most people there. You know what I mean? So I feel like you might as well just play him. The best thing for Solskjaer to do was to play him more this season, then actually see how he fits in the plan for next season. Because there's no point now coming to buy Sancho, and then what's going to happen to him?
Yeah.
Because NK mentioned it earlier about potentially loaning him out. But I can't see him getting loaned. I can see.
I was talking about loaning him out, because why not to, I think this summer what is going to be so key is the outgoing. I feel like we might end up losing one of our big players that we are actually not expecting, because let's just say we're talking about Sancho, Harry Kane, or whatever. Now, if Cavani decides to stay, we're looking at another striker, Martial, and then you got Greenwood. Everybody forgetting about Greenwood. Greenwood don't play on the right-hand side. If you buy Sancho, so are you buying Sancho so that it's going to be Greenwood, Sancho, and Ahmed playing on the right-hand side? Or now is Greenwood? Is it going to be Martial, Greenwood, and Cavani as a striker? Or on the left-hand side, is it going to be Pogba and then Rashford? the team. So it's just a whole kind of like lot of like, we need players, but we need the right players to balance the team.
Yeah.
You know, because if Cavani stays, I don't think we need a striker. Because if you buy a striker, then you just kind of like, we're just going to lack in a lot of the other position. Left wing is one position that we just did not have a cover. Because originally it was supposed to be Martial and Rashford for that place. Ever since Martial went onto that position, that left wing has been for Marcus Rashford, you know, and he played whether he's injured, whether he's out of form. Recently, Pogba kind of like gained form, so it's kind of like giving him a bit of competition for that kind of like place. But our transfers is going to be key, and our outgoings is going to be. I feel like we are going to lose a big player. I feel if someone even bring money for someone like Martial, I feel they will sell him. If anybody come and say, "Hey, we want Martial," and they table like a reasonable amount of money, I feel they sell him. A few seasons ago, they will not sell him, but after what we have seen now, I don't think United fans will even miss him going. If it means getting either a Haaland or a Kane, they will not mind him going, you know. And I feel like we might end up losing a big player.
I could see so one, Martial's wages are crazy, right? So he's young. He's about what, 24, 25 maybe.
Yeah, 24. Yeah, now
and he's on 250k a week. 24-year-old, and he's not doing enough. He's had 2 good seasons, one when he first joined United, and second when last season. And then that's it. So it's a lot of money that is being poured into him right now for what he's delivered for a guy that's been here since what's that guy that manager? What's his name? LVG, Louis van Gaal. And he's been there for quite some time. I do see us being linked with guys like Koeman, who's, you know, potentially running down his contract. He's not signed yet. Or Rafinha. Do you know what I mean? And these guys are not like, well, Koeman will be, you know, direct replacement, ready to go. Rafinha has got that Premier League experience, a cheaper option. But still, I feel like if Manchester United was going to sell Martial this season, Manchester United won't get anything more than 50 million for him. Rafinha, in the same breath, will cost about the same amount. I think Leeds are not going to sell him Premier League to Premier League. It's going to be like 40 to 50 million maybe. And there's not going to be much. The question is, are you going to, why engage?
Yeah, but right now we are buying players and we are not selling. And what does it? We just have players just there, sitting there not playing. Like right now, what do you call it? Lindelof is on a long-term contract. Bailly just signed a long-term contract. You got Harry Maguire, that's on a long-term contract. And then we got Twanzebe there too, and we got Phil Jones there too. And we're talking about we need another centre-back.
Yeah.
Now, if we was to buy another centre-back, then you got almost like 6 centre-back there.
Too many. Yeah.
Someone has to go. And the question is, the ones that can go for good money, they are already, like Bailly was one person that could have been sold and get good money for, but now he just signed a good contract. So he's not going to go. Phil Jones is not going to go because he's on a lot of money. And if he goes, he's either going to go on loan or we have to pay him to leave, you know? So right now we got a problem even in the centre-back position. Anyway. The last thing we need
is the one at risk, I think. He's
right,
only got
but
like
even
a year
if
or two.
he goes, that's still not enough. We need to get rid of 2 or 3 of them. You know, you literally go on.
So where's Jones? Is he actually like injured or what's he doing? He's just
Oli was talking last time about he's gonna be a new player next season. That's what he was talking about. You know, so we don't. The problem with our centre back, we don't want to create that same problem in the attacking space because right now we got a lot of attacking players. Ahmed is one player that don't play. He should be playing. You got Daniel James that's still there. You got Greenwood that's still coming through. You got Martial there too, and then you got Rashford. These are all positions just for 3 players. You know, so if you're talking about signing 2 attacking players, then two attacking players have to go. And the question is, which one goes? James is a more likely candidate to go, but if James go, then who? Cavani, they're begging Cavani to say, so Cavani is not going. Before everybody can say, oh yeah, get rid of James and then Cavani, and then go get Sancho or Kane or Sancho or Haaland.
Yeah.
But if these players are not leaving and you are buying, who is going to... Martial is not going to sit there and not play week in, week out. Rashford is not going to sit there and then play week in, week out.
I
And
really
then we
can't
bought
see it.
Ahmed to that. Ahmed is not playing week in, week out. So
I
the question
really
is-
can't see it. I really can't
Right,
see us even worrying about Martial when there's so much other
No,
stuff
but you know
we've got to worry about.
when Man United, when Man United flopped, right? When they had Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood playing sick together, yeah, Solskjaer coming on this whole rotation thing and messed everything up. Because technically, yeah, if you had them, think about having them three up front, yeah, they can just interchange simultaneously.
Yeah,
they come back. I think out of all of them,
you play Pogba wherever you want because they'll just be like running riot between them. But you know what I think is like, it's true what you said because even Rojo's still there, isn't he?
No, he's
Yeah,
gone
Rojo
to, I think he's at Boca Juniors now.
Boca Juniors. I don't know whether he will never come back though. He will never come back too. But then he's just kind of like gone. But then the question is, they have to sell someone. They really have to sell someone. The question is, I don't know who out of the attacking play they'll have to sell because as I told you right now too, Pogba right now is looking like they prefer him on the left because yesterday when the team sheet came out, Pogba was playing on the left-hand side and Rashford was on the right-hand side and Greenwood was the one leading the attack, you know? So if Martial is fit, where does Martial play now? You know?
See, I think like Cavani obviously he's got 1 year left, so he's gonna be gone. Like once he's gone, you're talking about just Rashford, Greenwood, Martial. Those are your main three: Rashford, Greenwood, Martial. And Diallo's gonna be used as the Dan James, in my opinion.
So what about Pogba then? Because Pogba is not playing the middle, so where you play Pogba? And if you get Sancho too, then you go. What? So you're gonna tell me like you're gonna put Sancho on the bench, put Pogba on the bench, or Rashford, and then Cavani on the bench? I mean, that's a good bench to look at too, but you're gonna upset a lot of players. You know.
I think like Pogba. This is to solve everything here. If you look at, even though we've got lots of players, yeah, they're not good enough. I'm not like they're not good enough for what we will need to achieve. You know what I mean? Even the centre backs. Look at Man City's first three. They've got that Ruben Diaz, Laporte, and they've got Stones, yeah. And this is the problem with Man United. They need to stop investing in, like, it sounds bad, these British defenders, because like the way we want to play, we need someone like a Ruben Diaz that can play football, but it's also got that rough side. But you know what I mean? But I think if we do get Sancho, like long term, we should just play someone like Rashford up front. You know what I mean? But then it will need to be, the only way it will work for Pogba to play, we need a DM. Like, you know them DMs that could just sit and it's literally like, one. You know the ones that just sit and it doesn't even matter if like, so it will be like a solid DM, Pogba, like on the, like, you know what I mean, drifting around, and Fernandes drifting, and they drop when they need to. But if we have a DM that's just actually covering, you know them DMs that can control the game, that you don't even have to worry about, because let's be honest, McTominay and Fred are not good enough as DMs. They play both of them to compensate as one. If we had one that was just good positioning wise, we could play Pogba in the centre and he could do whatever he wants. Because even if he just tracks back, that's an extra body. But if we had a DM that controlled the tempo, that could tackle and pass the ball and maybe dribble here and there, then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, what the thing is, one of our players is going to get upset and leave. So if it was to even get defensive midfielder, McTominay and Fred, they know for sure they're not going to get enough game times, and one of them will have to leave.
Well, naturally, that's going to have to happen, right? Because if we're talking about having a first team that's stronger, a B team that's stronger, you're going to have to be recycling the kind of average guys and bringing in more talent.
Yeah, but it's one thing recycling, but it's another thing when a player like Fred, he's not going to go from being a first choice to a third choice. Because if you buy another player, not only he's become a second choice, he's become a third choice now. You know, because if you switch formations, he don't get to play in the DM because either him or McTominay or whoever DM that you're going to sign is going to be competing for that space. You know, and then you're going to have Pogba there, you have Van der Beek there that we haven't even spoke about. And it's the same situation with Van der Beek. We bought Van der Beek and he has hardly played. So I'm telling you, we are going to lose one of these big players this summer. Martial, Van der Beek,
I'm here for it.
One of them is going to go.
Donny's going to stay. I heard he's going to stay.
No, I think he has to stay, but you know
I don't think Martial's staying. I don't think he's leaving anyway. I don't think any of them's leaving, to be fair. I think it'll be the following season. I think it'll be the following season when they're frustrated, not this season.
Hey, if I'm a striker and I were there by a player, they're gonna knock there. And then so are we gonna leave Ahmed on the bench for the whole of next season?
We're gonna throw him in a couple of games.
Huh?
We're gonna just throw him in a couple of games here and there. United, you take our time. Look at Brandon Williams. Look, we gave him a lot of airtime. Now he's just floundering. That's what we do.
Yeah, but Ahmed was so. If my question is, if you bought Ahmed and you were not gonna play him, they should have just saved the money if they were gonna get Sancho anyway. It makes me question the Sancho deal, whether we are actually gonna go for him or not. Because if we sign Sancho, something has to happen with Ahmed. And I'm sure of that. Because something happens. Because if you have Greenwood can play, Greenwood can cover both on the right and as a center forward. So who to say if Sancho comes and let's just say Sancho get injured? He's not gonna go for Ahmed. He will rather put Greenwood on the right-hand side. And now you even go Rashford too, now playing on the right-hand side now because Pogba is doing well on the left-hand side. So something has to give for that boy. You sign Sancho, you have to give him on loan or something. Or if not, we're going to just waste that money on him.
You need to...
The problem is like, Solskjaer doesn't even know what... I feel like, the problem is like, if a good manager's, all right, look at their team and then they look at the sum, okay, if I'm going to buy these players, I know how to fit everyone in. I think Solskjaer doesn't know what to do. That's why he rotates so much. He actually doesn't know what football he wants to... He's got what... He wants to play counter football, that's it. That's what we know, yeah? But... I don't know. Tactically, he's not like, you know what I mean. He doesn't have a team in his head that says I could sit with this team. You know what I mean? Because look at Man City. No matter what, they've got the same formation and they've got players that slot in. Even someone like Sterling's on the bench now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His form just
disappeared.
Yeah, because Foden stepped up, and that's the same thing. Like he gave Foden a chance. If you got Diallo, because even though, like, we're saying Diallo is young, he's not that young. Like, he's, 19? He's not like he's 16, 17. So, you might as well give him a chance. Like, give Enke was saying, give him a chance. Because now he's going to be like, if we get Sancho, what are we going to do with him? He's just going to be bench warming.
The thing about the team is... Yeah, go on.
The team, for me, I feel like we're not in a state where... I mean, I've seen other teams do it. Where they play like your Sakas, for example, Arsenal. But look where they are. They're battling with the whole trying to get into European football right now. I think if Manchester United, I don't even think we're at a stage where we can be playing Diallo next season. I just worry that it's not enough for our ambition, our current level of ambition. So I do feel like we're going to get Sancho. I do feel like we're going to get him. And then Diallo is going to be used bit part. I do not think he's going to get loaned. I feel like he's going to be used bit part, just like how Dan James was, but probably even less. I just feel like Manchester United needs to stop worrying about all of this stuff. I think Manchester United has been doing that. I think we need to get cutthroat and say, this is what we need to improve our club. Let them managers or them coaches worry about all of that crap. If Martial decides, he can't take being on the bench, fine, sell him. Do you know what I mean? The guys that we want to be playing, that we want to be at the club, are the guys that's going to be playing. The guys that are challenging. I mean, your Rashford, your Greenwoods, your Sancho if he's here, and the rest is just gonna have to deal with it.
Right, and you know what? You are just spot on right there because our team is not. We can say whatever we want to say, but that team is not far off challenging for the Premiership. With this current formation that we're playing. Now, if you was to change the whole formation, that means you need a whole new players to kind of like come in. Right now, he has settled that this is the formation and this is the formation that going forward get the best out of the players that are currently there.
Yeah.
Now he just need to find out where certain players kind of like play.
Yeah.
I strongly feel like we need 3 players. 3 players can push up towards where City is supposed to be. A good centre back,
DM,
a good DM, and we need a good right wing. And we need a good right wing. I mean, everybody talking about what do you call it? Aaron Bissaka need a cover up. We got Diallo. Make him be the cover up guy. Make him be the
What right back?
Right back.
Sorry, not right back. Sorry. Oh, what do you call it? The one that went to AC Milan. The one that went to AC Milan. What's his name again?
Dalot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damien. Make him. What do you call it? Make him like the.
Not Dalot. We sold Damien. It's Dalot.
Sorry.
Yeah, we sold Damien. Yeah.
No, but it's true, because then if you've got players that could cover, why go waste money when you've got something?
Right, that's what I'm just trying to say, because we don't have that. Lindegaard, they should not entertain giving that contract. Sell him. Let Lindegaard go. Let him
Lingard.
go. Literally let him go.
What, Lingard, West Ham?
Yeah, let him go. Some players, as you said that, some players will have to move on because we are going on to a better phase now, and we are going to end up upsetting a lot of players. So players like Rashford are not going to get to play week in, week out because he play on the left and he's not going to be good on the left. Pogba, I can guarantee you, is not going to play in the middle of the park no more because he's not good playing in that center midfield as a defensive cover. He's not good. You play him there and we will not be a title-winning team. So if they are going to go get a new center forward, that's fair enough. Go get that too. He needs to just know what players are going to play in what formation because we are not far. And the transfer window is going to be very, very key to just do that. Selling one player can upset the whole team. And bringing in one player can make the team go so much higher. So it is going to be a very interesting summer.
I realized though quickly, like we're making a point about, like Diallo, we don't know, like Sancho, But you remember when Sancho went to Dortmund, no one knew he would be good. Everyone was like, maybe it's too big for him. Even Bellingham, like, until you put these young players and give them a chance, like, I'm not saying that he's better than Sancho by no means, but we playing him might actually be like, we can save money here for a little while.
Yeah. I mean,
because like,
you're right.
Bellingham's 16, 17, and he's playing like
he's looking good, man.
Division 1, and he's playing so comfortably. Then you've got Sancho, who went there, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should have stayed at Man City. Wait for your chance." And he's playing well. We might even play Diallo. We might actually be like, "This guy is actually better than we thought," or he's not as good. But we can't we haven't given him a chance. You know what I mean?
But if you're gonna play him, it's like just saying right now that Greenwood is ready to lead our attack because Greenwood is good, but no one is talking about making Greenwood lead their line. They're talking about Haaland or Kane because they will not give you that consistency that we need to win the league. We are not trying to make top for next season. We are trying to win the league. Now, he can play the all games or not, but he cannot start for us. And that's
it's a different ambition. It's just ambition.
How many times have they started Greenwood though up front? Rarely, man.
But then
even when they do start him, they make him play on the right.
Yeah, but even it's like, but then the thing is, if you make him our number one striker, he will not be as consistent just like that. Sancho has been playing on a senior level for Sancho will be a big difference than what Ahmed will bring. Ahmed might be good in like 2-3 years time, but right now we don't have 2-3 years time. We are tired. We've been doing this for almost 6, 7, 8 years. We won the Premiership.
Look at Rooney. We started playing Rooney up front young, and
Rooney had Van Nistelrooy there when he came. It was after he had a good season. That's when they saw Van Nistelrooy.
I don't think Diallo is in a team right now where you can afford to play him on that right wing and us be saying we want to challenge for the title. You can get him, you can finish top 4 playing Diallo, but what we're trying to do is compete with Liverpool, compete with City, and I think that ambition needs Sancho over Diallo. Not like to say Diallo won't have a decent season, but I just feel like right now the level that we're trying, the targets that we're going to set ourselves is going to be a bit too much. But I do want to see him in the team a lot more, but I feel like our team has to be a lot more settled. We probably do need someone that is tactically, whether Oli develops into that person or not, or whether it's someone else, our team needs to be settled. And when you talked about guys like Rooney, like you said, the team was already like, the squad that was around these players.
I agree with you. But when we didn't get Sancho, I think that was the chance to see what Diallo was about because, like what Enke said, next season is going to be hard for him no matter what if we get players. So, now you've got him in the team.
Yeah,
I would have preferred that time for him to, obviously Dan James is playing well, but sometimes play Diallo, actually give him a full game to start and see. Because bringing him on these last 10 minutes is good, but it's like, what can you really do?
Yeah,
it makes you think. But you remember, people say that he cost 40 million. Manchester United only paid probably like less than 20 million. The total package for him was 40 million. Yeah. So in actual investment, when people say, 40 million for bench, it's not really 40 million. He may not even reach the 40 million because I know there's a few clauses which will probably like total that. In actual fact, it could even be a bargaining chip, Manchester. Not that it may not be. I don't think it is, but it could be a bargaining chip in a sense where Dortmund wanted him. We've got him now. He's got sell-on value. Clearly, he's still young. You can loan him out. Get it's not. It was really it was a win-win. You know what I mean? You weren't really gonna lose with getting him. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's,
like you say, he's young as well. And he's you know them players, they're Man United fans. He's not gonna be. I don't see him being there complaining about. I want to be in the first team.
It's Igalo all over again.
Yeah, but he's just happy to be there.
Yeah, but the thing about him is there is space for him in our team. But for me, it's all about, number one, it's going to be about where Pogba plays next season. If Pogba plays in the middle of the pitch, if they find a position for him in the middle of the pitch where he have that kind of like freedom, then it allow you to say, hey, you know what, the left-hand side, because why now, as a Man United fan, what we need 2 players in each and every position. You know, the right-hand side can be literally for Ahmed and Sancho rotating. The striking position can be for Greenwood and Cavani. And the left-hand side can be for Martial and Rashford. And in the middle of the pack can be Pogba, Fred, McTominay, or whoever we buy in there. But the question is, Pogba don't play best in that middle of the pitch. But if you have guys like Sancho there doing a lot of the creating on the right-hand side, it's all about where we get the creativity from. If you get the creativity, then you can still put Pogba in there and then we can lose out on his creativity. But I feel like it all depends on where Pogba plays. Where Pogba plays, it tells a lot about the balance of the team. If Pogba plays in the middle, and as I said, if you get Sancho, you get 2 players in every position and you can rotate nicely and still feel confident about it, you know? Yeah. But if Pogba is to play on the left-hand side, then there's a big problem. Because you go Pogba and Rashford competing on the left-hand side, or do you want to shift Rashford to on the right-hand side, and then you just leave a whole players kind of like packed on the right-hand side? It's just a big problem. And it is not, as far as what we care about at the end of the day, is for us to be winning week in, week out. We don't care who plays. We just want to be winning week in, week out. And it's up to Ole to make sure he knows what his first 11 is, or he knows where everybody is. And still players like Daniel James, like get rid of Daniel James, man. Get him to Leeds United. He play against Leeds United all the time. Just sell that guy.
You need to. And for me, like, I feel like Diallo will best be for us to not waste another year. And there's no point if you're gonna utilize, if you're gonna keep Diallo, play him in the Europa League game. No, not even Europa League. We're not even gonna be in that.
We're in Champions League, baby.
We're in the Champions League. It's crazy. Play him in the, your Carabao Cups. Make sure he starts regardless of whether you're in a final, whether you're in a set. You know what I mean? Play him in your FA Cups. Get games out of him. Don't just waste him. Otherwise, you best loan him, because that guy could be playing for there's going to be a lot of clubs in the Premier League that will want him. Those teams that get promoted, those teams that are still in there, and he will be playing 70% of games. Let him get that experience. Let him get used to the physicality. And this is just an advert. Diallo's an advert for any future young buck out there that Manchester United tried to go for again. Like, Jude Bellingham is sitting back thinking, I made a great decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you can't keep using these youngsters like that and just...
And this is what I'm talking about. It's very key we win the Europa League this season, because it allows us to play our youngsters in the Copa. Because Ole has been wanting to win a trophy so bad that he even played his strongest team even in the Copa Cup, because he just want to win a trophy so bad. Yeah. So if we win the trophy this season, he's going to say, hey, you know what? I've won a trophy now. So I can literally give the youngest a chance to just play in the Copa Cup, and then the FA Cup when it's a small team, just give them a chance, Because Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire was playing in the FA Cup with a team from like League 2. And you don't need that. It should be for the youngsters. So if we are to win the trophy, I think it will make Ole a bit relaxed, because Ole is scared. When he came and then we lost that kind of a game, he just scared. He don't trust no one. And even look at West Ham. When we went to go play West Ham away, he rested Bruno Fernandes. That was the only game that Bruno didn't start. He rested Bruno. And then by halftime, we were almost like, a goal down. And we were playing so bad. He brought Bruno on, and then boom. We literally just came back and won. So he's scared to try different things. Ole is so scared to try different things, So winning this cup is not only just good for us as a fan, but it's good enough for him, and going forward, what kind of like tactics to use, and also giving young players a chance too. Because if not, we're not going to see these youngsters play.
No, I mean, that's so true.
Yeah, it is true.
I feel like he's not like, I don't think he's confident in himself yet. he's like very precautious. He's scared, and I think winning this cup now, the UEFA Cup, he could be like, look, I've got some weight lifted off my shoulders. Let me express myself now. I think he's just waiting he wants to win a cup before he does anything wild, because then they'll be like, bro, you haven't even won anything before you can be doing this.
And that's what it is, because let's face it, when we ended last season, we ended the season by playing, Pogba, McTominay, Bruno, Greenwood on the right-hand side. Like, that team was the team that got us the Champions League. And then when we started the season playing the same formation, it was just so bad. Like, we were so bad at a few games that we were playing. And then he switched it to McTominay and Fred. We started winning, and he has never gone back since. So he just scared to just kind of like loosen up, The way how I feel like a trophy will be his confidence.
Definitely.
To loosen up.
And the way how I see it with Manchester United, watching Manchester United under Oli, I think the two key positions that definitely will change the outlook. One that I've seen, which is a centre-back, having a quick, fast strength centre-back. When Baye's been on form, it's been amazing. We've played a higher line. We've pressed a lot more, and it's more progressive type football. So that's a position that we definitely need to try and sort out in the summer. If we can, that will have a massive impact on how we play, the style we play, the formation, whatever. Secondly, is this DM, because we're talking about Pogba, but having a solid DM will allow Pogba to express himself, get forward, have more of a, take the shackles off. But also, like I said, I feel like we still could have got inventive with this team, especially in those cup competitions earlier. And I know Oli tried it with the playing the diamond and stuff, but I would have liked to see the likes of, you can put your Paul Pogba on the left. Try and see if you can play Donny van der Beek, Bruno Fernandes, and then one DM. Let them be. You can have your Pogba, Donny van der Beek, and Bruno in the same squad. I feel like all of this is we lack the ability to be able to do this because we don't have a proper DM that Oli trusts that can say, I can marshal this midfield by myself. He plays either Scotty, who's a box to box and likes to get forward himself, and Fred, he doesn't control the game. He can't. He plays the side to side. He's not a commander. If you look at Fred, he really is fit. He runs every blade of grass. But if you look at him, the one thing you would say about Fred is he's a hard worker and he does a lot of chasing, not a lot of commanding. You know what I mean? He's not a dictator.
Not a lot of commanding. He just runs. But normally when he runs, he doesn't even.
He doesn't take the ball.
Don't know how to. They just don't know how to communicate with them. Because when I see them play, as I said to you, when the reason, if you have two holding midfielders there, they don't contribute towards attack. So one, you are either going to attack through your wing backs, which is Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka bumping forward, because they know if they go forward, these two DMs are going to just help them. And they allow your wingers to, which is your Greenwood and then your Rashford, to be more narrow, so that they can get more of the goals. But because they don't do so much of a good job protecting them, the fullbacks are scared to go forward, because anytime we have, especially against a smaller team, when we push forward like that, we pass and we pass, we don't seem to get nowhere else because the midfielders are not helping. The minute we lose the ball, boom. Our counter-attack position is just so bad because they don't protect. If we actually, with centre-backs, I would rather we spend the money on a DM than a centre-back, because if we get one good DM,
you protect your centre-backs anyway. Exactly. You protect them. And for me, I don't even think playing like the two DMs that we do is a bad thing. I just feel like you just need better ones of them. Say if you had two DMs and you had people that can spray the ball and can command. Like you had a Ruben Neves or Jorginho, two of them sitting here in the middle, allowing Pogba to do his thing. We'll be a whole different team, because now you've got players from deep that can not only defend, break up play, but can pick a pass. I don't know why we sold Herrera. We messed up selling Herrera, because Herrera...
He was a good box-to-box too, but I don't know, we kind of like grow him too. I was happy he left.
He went for free, didn't he?
I mean, it's the wages issue, but he was a lot better than what we got now. I feel like...
he is better than McTominay, that's for sure.
I mean, he's better. These guys can carry the ball, dictate that. That's what we need. I feel like even if we still had two DMs, I know I say, one DM and Pogba, even if we had two DMs, just two DMs with a lot more in their locker, your Ruben Neves, you know what I mean, for Wolves, just something. And people mentioned Basuma. I don't really think Basuma's ready for United yet.
In
Diddy, quality, but again, he's a guy now you'll play one DM. You can leave him to do one DM and play Pogba beside him, fine. if you're gonna do this 2 DM thing, you wouldn't need 2 DMs if you got Ndidi anyway. But if you're gonna do 2 DMs, then you see Chelsea's midfield, how you got Kante and you've got like, you know, Jorginho.
But they even play through at the back too. They got them too, and they still play through at the back.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, but it's clear to see in it, like a lot of how we play is going to be dependent on a centre back and a DM. We need to get those right. And I don't want us to be like, oh, okay, we got Sancho. The fans want to see these players. Let's just settle for any guy based on how much they cost. I really just want us to be like, you know what? We are getting the guys that we need. If you need to get Varane, get Varane. If you need to get Ndidi, then I'll rather say wait than bringing in another body. What's just extra luggage.
If we have money to buy 2 players, what position would you want to go for? If we had money to buy 2 players, what position would you like to strengthen?
If I was gonna get
2 positions,
if it was me, I'll get DM and I'll get a right wing, because like you said, if you get a solid DM, you won't need to worry about centre back, and then right wing's gonna add that extra creativity. So for me, it's already done, deal, set, match, complete. Do you know what I mean? But
because even as a centre back, it's even, I mean, all these guys that we are trying to link to us, who would you say they will come and have an instant impact? Centre back, they won't. Sancho, I know will have an instant impact. I don't care what anybody say, he will. And then you're talking about just buying, to me, the 2 defensive midfielders that you can buy from the Premiership. You know, Declan Rice or Ndidi, one of them could do the job for me. Simple. Centre back, I don't think we need it.
So you already heard it from us. You know, the transfer window wrap up. The latest news, we've brought to you our views on what we think about the signings, what's the most, you know, our priorities in terms of who we need to get, what positions we need to cover. We've told you about the players that we've currently got, and who we want to see leave, who we want to see get more game time. And, you know, we've talked about the current dilemmas that we have at our club with Cavani, with Pogba, you know, the wins that we had actually with Cavani and with Eric Bailly, but the dilemmas with Pogba. We didn't actually touch on the goalkeeper situation, but you already heard the news that's circulating around that. But you know what? We're going to be back again with another show. This is the OT99 Banter Room, where opinions are shared and smart gets served. Guys, thanks for joining.